Dive into the wisdom-filled waters of the Book of Proverbs, an integral part of the Bible's wisdom literature. This collection of divine wisdom, expressed in practical and poetic sayings, guides us towards a life of virtue, discipline, righteousness, and understanding. Today, we embark on a journey to explore how Jesus Christ, the personification of wisdom, embodied the teachings found in Proverbs chapters 19 to 24. Join us as we traverse the wisdom-laden passages of Proverbs 19 to 24 and explore how Jesus embodied these teachings. Chapter 19 of Proverbs speaks volumes about integrity, wisdom, and the importance of seeking God's guidance. In the heart of Proverbs 19, we find a treasure trove of wisdom that outlines a roadmap to living a life of integrity. It teaches us that honesty is more than just a virtue. It's a way of life that radiates positivity and earns respect. Now let's reflect on Jesus' life. His actions, teachings, and parables are the embodiment of these values. Remember the story of the woman caught in adultery? Jesus, in his wisdom, didn't condemn her, but encouraged her to sin no more. He showed integrity by upholding the spirit of the law, even when it was easier to follow the crowd. Moreover, Jesus' reliance on God's guidance was unwavering. Just like what Proverbs 19 suggests, he often retreated to quiet places to pray and seek God's will, demonstrating that wisdom comes from divine guidance, not human understanding. Just as Proverbs 19 encourages, Jesus displayed integrity, wisdom, and an unwavering reliance on God's guidance. Proverbs 20 delves into character, integrity, and the overarching sovereignty of God. This chapter reminds us that the Lord examines our hearts, testing us for honesty and sincerity. It encourages us to avoid strife and seek peace, emphasizing the importance of good character and integrity in our lives. One of the prime examples of these values is seen in the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. Whether it was his interactions with the Pharisees, his teachings to his disciples, or his parables to the masses, Jesus always exemplified integrity and good character. He was honest, truthful, and consistent in his actions and words, showcasing a life that was fully submitted to the sovereignty of God. For instance, consider the story of Jesus and the adulterous woman. Even in the face of extreme pressure, Jesus maintained his integrity, choosing to respond with wisdom and compassion rather than succumbing to the crowd's demand for judgment. In the same vein, Jesus mirrored these lessons from Proverbs through his life and teachings, offering us a perfect example of how to live a life of character and integrity under God's sovereignty. Chapter 21 of Proverbs elaborates on righteousness, generosity, and humility. In this chapter, the wisdom literature teaches us that righteousness is more than mere external actions. It's a state of the heart. It is about being just, fair, and upright in all our dealings. Generosity, on the other hand, is the act of giving freely and abundantly, without expecting anything in return. And humility, the cornerstone of these virtues, is the conscious acknowledgement of our limitations and the recognition of the worth and dignity of others. Jesus, in his ministry, embodied these principles. Consider the story of the widow's offering. Despite her poverty, she gave all she had, demonstrating true righteousness and generosity. Jesus, seeing her heart, praised her actions, showing us that it's not the size of the gift, but the heart behind it that counts. And in washing his disciples' feet, Jesus depicted the epitome of humility, serving others despite being their master. In his ministry, Jesus beautifully encapsulated these principles. His life and teachings serve as a beacon, guiding us to live out righteousness, generosity, and humility in our daily lives. Proverbs 22 underscores the importance of generosity, compassion, and teaching children. A touch of generosity can make a world of difference. This chapter teaches us that being generous is not just about giving material things. It's about sharing our time, our kindness, and our compassion to those around us. Compassion, too, is a key value emphasized in this chapter. It's about understanding and sharing the feelings of others, being there for them in their times of need. Now let's look at Jesus Christ's life. In his interactions with the people around him, Jesus displayed immense generosity and compassion. Remember the story of feeding the 5,000? With just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, Jesus fed a multitude. This wasn't just a miracle of multiplication, but a beautiful demonstration of his generosity and compassion. It was the cornerstone of his ministry. Whether he was healing the sick, comforting the grieving, or forgiving the sinful, Jesus always showed deep, profound compassion. In essence, Jesus, in his life and teachings, exemplified these proverbial values. Through his example, we learn how to live out these values in our own lives. Chapter 23 of Proverbs teaches us about temperance, discipline, and avoiding negative influences. It's a call to self-control and a warning against the perils of overindulgence. But how does this translate to the life and teachings of Jesus Christ? Well, let's consider Jesus' message of self-control. Throughout his ministry, he exemplified temperance in his actions and words. He fasted for 40 days in the wilderness, resisted temptation, and consistently maintained a balanced approach to life, despite the pressures and expectations of his time. Moreover, Jesus wasn't shy about associating with sinners. But his association was not one of indulgence or approval of their wrongdoing. Instead, he used these interactions as opportunities to teach, to guide, and to influence positive change. He was the light in the dark places, never losing his discipline or allowing negative influences to sway his mission. So, in essence, Jesus not only taught the values of temperance and discipline, he lived them. He showed us that we too can maintain our integrity, even when faced with life's many challenges. Jesus, through his life, demonstrated the essence of these teachings. Proverbs 24 is a treasure trove of wisdom, strength, and prudence. These timeless principles, when applied, can lead us to a life of fulfillment and peace. As we delve into the depths of this chapter, we see the recurring theme of wisdom being the cornerstone of strength and prudence. Consider the story of Jesus calming the storm, found in the Gospel accounts. Here we witness Jesus exercising divine wisdom in the face of a raging tempest. With just a few words, he demonstrates superior strength over nature's forces, and in doing so, he teaches his disciples and us about the power of faith and calmness in the face of adversity. This act of Jesus is a testament to prudence, a quality that goes hand in hand with wisdom. Prudence is about making wise decisions, understanding the consequences of our actions, and acting accordingly. Jesus, in his life and teachings, consistently made choices that displayed divine wisdom and foresight. Jesus, the epitome of wisdom and prudence, mirrored these teachings through his life and ministry. Now let's reflect and compare the wisdom and values of Proverbs 19:24 with Jesus' teachings. These proverbs emphasize integrity, wisdom, righteousness, and humility, values clearly mirrored in Jesus' life and teachings. His parables and interactions displayed these values, teaching us to seek God's guidance, practice self-control, and live with generosity and compassion. In his life and teachings, Jesus was the living embodiment of proverbial wisdom. How can we apply proverbial wisdom in our day-to-day lives, just like Jesus did? Let's take a leaf from Jesus' book. Start by living with integrity, demonstrating generosity, and practicing humility. Embrace the teachings on character and seek God's guidance in all matters. Remember, wisdom, strength, and prudence are valuable assets. By following Jesus' example, we can integrate proverbial wisdom into our lives. Let's strive to embody these lessons, just as Jesus did. To wrap up, we've embarked on a journey through Proverbs 19-24 and seen how Jesus embodied these teachings. May we all strive to embody the wisdom of Proverbs, just as Jesus did. As we conclude, remember that wisdom is a lifelong pursuit. It's not a destination, but a journey. And the Book of Proverbs is a trusted roadmap. As we've discovered today, Jesus himself embodied the teachings of Proverbs, providing us with a living example of wisdom, integrity, and righteousness. His life and teachings offer us a blueprint for applying the timeless wisdom of Proverbs to our own lives. From practicing humility and generosity to seeking wisdom and maintaining integrity, the teachings of Jesus reflect the core values found within these chapters. But it doesn't end here. The beauty of wisdom is that it grows and deepens with discussion and shared insights. So we invite you to join the conversation. Share your thoughts, your reflections, and your personal journey in applying these teachings. Join the conversation below, and together, let's continue exploring the wisdom of Proverbs and the life of Jesus.